Hey guys, welcome to Hair Magic 101. As we wait for everybody to kind of pop in and get ready to learn, this will be on YouTube later. So if you guys can't stay the whole time, or maybe you just didn't catch it at all and you're watching this on YouTube, hi on YouTube. This is going to be here on TikTok. It's live, so I will be answering questions and so on. If you guys are catching this later and you have questions, please feel free to message me, post on here, whatever. But as you guys know, I'm the Blue Bodhi. I have been a spiritual educator for, a long time, like 2014. Hi, guys. So in being in being a spiritual educator, there's a lot of things that I know I obviously don't know, but there's a few things that I have learned in my own practices that have worked for me tremendously, and I try to pass them on to others. One of the things that people completely underestimate is the power of their own hair. Now, you guys have all seen the little jokey meme or whatever about, if you don't believe witchcraft is real, give me a lock of your hair. And that's true. So yes, you can use hair in all kinds of workings, protective to hexing. However, when it comes to your hair on your head, your personal magic, there is a lot that goes into it that I don't think most people know. Hence the reason for this evening. If you guys are just joining me, hi, we're just starting. This is going to be all over hair and hair magic and how you can utilize your own hair, how you can work with your children's hair, with anybody else around you to help them with their day, to help them with their week, their month, their year, whatever it is. You'll notice tonight I don't have any braids. Well, I take that back. I lied. I have this one back here, but it's got a little, it's been in for a few days for a reason. I do have a few sometimes I'll hide back in here that will be in for a few days, but most of you guys know I almost always have one right here. So the reason I usually have it on this side, the left side of the body is traditionally considered your spiritual side. Now, there are times I will do one on both sides if I have a few things I need to do or whatever. So one of the first things I want to talk about is why I do it. With hair in particular. So I am a Celtic and Norse hybrid mix of DNA. So the Celts and the Norse both had very spiritual practices when it came to their hair, how they wore it, why they wore it in certain ways, etc. Braids and dreadlocks, which are actually called elf locks in Celtic and so on, they were very, very important to both the warriors and the common people, to the highborn and the lowborn, depending on how you braided it, how you wore it, even your hair color gave a lot of credibility to what you do, don't do, etc. So I have some cheat sheets up here because my brain is kind of mush lately. So one of the main things I wanted to talk about is, okay, let me say this first. If you guys don't know where your background is, I highly recommend doing a DNA test to find out. Chances are you're going to find out you've been drawn to a certain culture because you belong to it. Second, if you're drawn to Norse and Celtic culture and you find out you're not Norse or Celtic, it's okay. Don't stress about it, okay? And don't stress about doing this kind of hair magic if you have not one drop of Celtic or Norse blood, because I'm gifting it to you. I am gifting this practice to you. So when you do it and someone says, oh, that's cultural appropriation, it is not. I am gifting it to you. It's coming from me to you. This is my personal practice. It is now yours to take and do whatever you would like. If you guys would like to implement it exactly as I do it, that makes me feel special, and that's awesome. If you guys would like to take it and make it your own, that makes me feel special, and that's awesome. I'm gifting it to you, okay? I'm gifting it to you. It's yours. No matter where you come from, I don't care, okay? It's yours. So, that being said, the Celts and the Norse, the Celtic culture especially, believed that the head was where the soul was. So, how you kept it kind of was a direct correlation of your soul. Now, there were some people in their cultures that weren't allowed to have long hair. Mostly these were craftsmen. I mean, you didn't want to be working a forge or something like that and, you know, die because your hair got caught in something. So there were certain areas where they did not keep their hair long, or they did not keep a beard. Most craftsmen actually were shaven. They were pretty well shaven. Warriors, that was kind of split. Some of them would have almost a bowl cut, but it was a wedge like this. So that's why if you watch Vikings, if you watch some of the other shows that depict Norse and Celtic culture, you'll see that they have a wedge like this. They're a warrior. However, some warriors chose to go all out with their shit. So if y'all are a big fan of the 80s punk rock movement or hair spikes or whatever, Celtic warriors used to do that to intimidate those they came up against. They would shave sides, they would shave areas, but they would also make humongous spikes, etc. They also would dye their hair in bright colors with the paste that was made from local flowers, anywhere from bright reds to pinks to blues. In fact, one of the plants there is what they used to use to tattoo themselves, and it makes a really beautiful indigo color tattoo. So most Celtic tattoos back then were a blue or indigo color. And I know some people will say, well, there's no proof. There is actually a ton of proof that the Celtic and Norse people did tattoo themselves all over. In fact, I read a story not that long ago. I had seen it before when they unearthed this grave, this woman, but now they've released more about it. And I wish I could remember the name that they gave her, but they found the grave of someone that they considered a Norse princess. Like, she was very high up. She was only about 19 or 20 when she died. She is covered from head to toe in tattoos. Not just paint, not just markings, tattoos. And the reason that they know that that's what it is because where they found her, it was in a place where the ground was so cold, it preserved her almost perfectly. So yes, head to toe in absolutely amazing tattoo work. And she also was just adorned with all kinds of jewelry. Like, I want to live her life because she obviously was super important and she was buried with a lot of amazing things. So yes, the Celts did tattoo, paste paint, all that stuff. If you guys would like to look up what Pictish warriors are, because they're fantabulous. They are some badass painted up motherfuckers. Like, they're fabulous, just saying. So if you guys really want to dive down a cool rabbit hole, look up Pictish warriors. Look up this Norse princess, this tattooed. It's really, really cool. She obviously was very important. Someone said she sounds important. She obviously was. It's just like when a pharaoh was buried, she was buried with weaponry, with jewelry, with all kinds of, I want to say scroll, like things like that. Very important items that they sent with her to wherever she was going on to. But she was ornately you know what I'm saying? Ornately decorated all over her body. So I totally fell down that rabbit hole and was looking up all I could about it. So I was glad that they released some more. So let's get into some other things. So one of the things I have here to talk to you guys about is that the length of the hair was actually considered magical. Now, like I said, some warriors and craftsmen had to keep their hair cut short. However, if you were on a lower peg of society or a slave or something like that, they cut your hair off. You were not allowed to have long hair. Most Norse women, they had hair so long that they had to tuck it in their belts, that even braided, it was long enough, they had to tuck it in their belts. So I thought that was cool, but it kind of reminded me of the story in the Bible of Samson. So when his hair is cut, his power is gone. That's kind of how they looked at it as well. So I look at it that way too. I've cut my hair off a few times in my life and I've hated it every time, even though I was like, oh my God, this is so easy to take care of. I love my long hair. I feel more powerful with it. And now I know why. So one of the, now I've got to pull this back up. I did a little video for this event and I wanted to talk about hair color. So we're going to talk about natural hair colors first. But before we do, what I would like to do is go through here and just do a quick little braid. I actually will do it on this side because I want to do something special with this later. But I would like to do just a little braid here as a blessing and show you guys kind of what I do and how I do it. Princess Utak. Yep. Thank you. Leave it up to Amanda to find it all. So usually what I do is right here close. I'm just going to do a simple one. Well, if I can get it sorted in the right lengths I need here. All right. So we will go over this here in a minute because the way that you braid, whether it's tight or loose, means something specific. For right now, though, I just want to do a quick little braid and a blessing for everybody watching, whether you're watching on TikTok or whether you're watching this later on YouTube. So when I'm doing something like this, I will braid it loosely at the top and tighter at the bottom. So I ask of the universe, of all the Norse and Celtic gods of old and new, that everyone who's watching this evening receives amazing blessings of relaxation, and they learn what they need to learn from this, even if it's not from me. And now I start to braid tighter. And I ask that everyone watching this be protected, that their family be protected, that their home be protected, that their gods and goddesses and deities and ancestors watch over them and keep them safe. And I ask that everybody watching this finds exactly what they need tonight, whether it's from me or someone else, to put them firmly on their path going forward and to fully bless their day tomorrow to be the best day that they need to have. As above, so below. Every time I do a braid in my hair, that is what's happened. I say something like that specifically. Not exactly, but you know what I mean? Yeah. Exactly. Someone said, I affirm every time I braid my daughter's hair. So anytime I'm going anywhere, I had to grab the biggest rubber band possible. Anytime I'm going somewhere, or you guys see me here on a live, the braid that's in my hair is for something specific. So this one right here, I will leave in tomorrow. I will leave it in all night. So one of the things I did want to talk about, you guys usually see me wearing, I brought some here to show you guys. I do have these on the website that you guys can totally order. I have silver and gold cuffs. Now with these, I kind of cheat a little bit and I will open mine up because I don't always like them in a cuff. I like them flat, but that's just me. So gold itself is a metal that is, I mean, it's wealth and so on, but it's also a master healer metal. It's wisdom, it's prosperity, and the healing energy in it is fantastic. Yes, I know these are not real gold, but it's the color that counts. So I will always put one in it. And since this part up here is for relaxation and peace and calm, I'm going to loosen it just a little bit more and leave it the way it is. So I will leave that one in all evening, all night, etc. So yeah, if you guys need the blessing from it, actually, I'm just going to leave it out like that. If you guys need the blessing from it, you're welcome to go to YouTube later, the Blue Bodhi, and watch it. But I will be doing another one over here shortly. Just wanted to talk about those things. I love that I've got my cheat sheets all ready back here. So let's talk about hair color. Okay, so let's talk about these cuffs. I'll pull them up again. So I have silver and gold. They have them in other colors too. I do have them on my website, like super cheap. I think like $1 for a couple of them. I mean, and you can pick whatever color you want, silver or gold or whatever. And like I said, they just open up. You can put them around a braid, dreadlock, elf lock, whatever you want, or ponytail, etc. They're very easy to use. If you move them too much, eventually they will break, but I will use some for, depending on how hard I am with them, or if I'm bending them really tight. They last for almost a month for me. So it just kind of depends what you're using them for. You can also find them on Amazon in like little kits. So sometimes the kits will have different coils and so on in them. We'll talk about those here in a second. And all kinds of other things. You can order them in bulk. You could, whatever you want to do. and I wish I had them over here, but I obviously took them and put them up. I did just order like some amazing Norse rune work for my hair. I'll be doing a video on that later. You guys can bet, because yeah. On Amazon, I'm trying to remember what I looked. I want to say I looked up hair cuffs, gold hair cuff. I can't remember. But if you look up, yeah, I would say gold hair cuff. And sometimes you can look up for dreadlocks and that will pull them up. But like I said, they have them in tons of colors. Gold and silver are the most prevalent on there. But yeah, I ordered some great Norse ones from there. Yeah, and you can use them a lot. So one of the things I want to talk about is hair color. So let's talk about hair color. So I know you guys can't really tell, but April can verify because she has seen baby me. I'm a ginger. I was not ever the super orange ginger. I was more the auburn ginger. But as I get older, my hair is white. You can totally see that my bangs are two different colors. I have strawberry blonde on one side and literally white on the other. Being a redhead, it turns white. It makes me happy. So let's talk about brunettes. Where's all my brunette friends at? Brunettes, you guys were considered to be very connected with the earth. You had a lot of earthbound magic in yourself. You were very grounding, very calming, very closer to here, closer to this realm. You were able to bring peace and harmony. Blondes, where my blonde friends at? Y'all will love this. Blondes were considered to be closer to the divine. Their hair was lighter, as in the lighter stages of being. They were considered to be closer to God, to the gods. Those with black hair were considered to be able to be friends with the dark. They were able to traverse some of the darker areas of the earth and not be afraid because they blend in. So, let's talk about the gingers. Let's talk about the gingers. As you guys know, there's a lot of Celtic folklore about redheads and so on, and that's where the majority of us come from, is there. Redheads are considered to be extremely magical. They are considered to have multiple types of magic. They also are considered to be very good luck. So this is why some people have heard about rubbing a redhead for good luck, like rubbing their hair for good luck or whatever. Of course, there's also a superstition that if you see a redhead, almost like a black cat, if you see a redhead crossing your path as you go out for a journey, it's bad luck. But I actually hadn't ever heard that until I was looking up something else the other day about redheads and so on. And I saw that and I was like, what? Like, I always heard redheads were lucky. But I mean, I guess if we're magic, we could easily like curse you, right? I don't know. Anyway, I digress. So let's talk about those of you guys that have silver hair, silver and white hair. This was considered super important and highly sought after. I personally love ladies that let their hair completely go silver or white, whatever it is. I think it's fucking fabulous. Guys, you've earned every single one of those silver or white hairs. Fucking own it. They're beautiful. Okay? Silver and white hair was considered to be the connection between the heavens and the earth. This is why they were considered elders. They were considered to be able to talk to both realms at the same time. So, let's see here. While I super appreciate people coming in and voicing their opinions on their beliefs and so on, this is not the time or the place for that, loves. I'm usually very, very gracious, and all I will do is just happily block you. But, yeah. Drive-by Jesusing. So, that's okay. Guys, I've seen a lot of other people that get very, very angry when people do that, and there's no reason to. I actually kind of feel bad when I see people do that on anybody's feed. Like, sometimes I'll watch other people's lives and I'll see people pop in and tell them how they're going to hell or this or that, even if the person's talking about being a Christian. I mean, it's crazy. It makes me feel bad for that person because it tells me that they have a lot going on in their life that may not be so good. So they feel that they need to push their power on other people. And it makes me kind of sad because I am that person that I believe everybody is special. Everybody has bullshit. Everybody just wants to be loved and be happy. And yeah, I try to spread that out to everybody. So anyway, back to my silver-haired friends. Yeah? Yeah? So silver hair was very, very highly sought after. And it should be highly sought after for those of you guys that walk a Wiccan or a witchcraft or a pagan path, because there is your connection between the two realms. So if you're doing any kind of spell work that involves, you know, talking to ancestors, talking to deities, talking to someone in the higher realms, just saying what I'm saying. So I have my color cheat sheet out because, as you guys know, I have my blue hair. So what I wanted to do was go over some of the different colors and what they mean. Now, this is for colored hair in general. It's also for beads or stones you guys want to use in your hair, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. So if you guys have a pencil and paper, you want to write this down, I will go kind of slow. If not, or if you're like, oh shit, well, I'm at work or I'm driving or whatever, well, hopefully you're not watching me while you're driving. Listening to me, but not watching. This will be on YouTube later under the Blue Bodhi, so you guys can go on there and get this cheat sheet, or you can Google it. Like, it's pretty easy. For those of you guys that don't know, I've been an aura artist for a long time. I have studied color theory extensively. I have synesthesia, so I pay very close attention to what things touch-wise are colors, music-wise, voices, etc. So let's start with red. Because why not, right? You guys are going to see me drink a lot of tea and water because I have talked extensively the last few days. Sorry, it is what it is. Red is the color of passion. It's the color of anger. It's the color of action. Red in general represents something that needs to happen now. So this is why a lot of times the warriors would dye their hair some form of red. It was action. It was fear. It was anger. However, it's also love and passion and warmth. So these colors all will have a good and a bad meaning to them, or a dark and a light, a yin and a yang, okay? So red is a wonderful one to use, whether it's beads, whether it's the color, even if you just have a ribbon to weave in it, okay? Red is a wonderful thing to use if you feel like you're going into battle, if you need action happening, if something like that. Say you have a divorce case or something. You can, hide a little one back there, or even put a little swatch up in here where nobody can see it. Whatever you want to do. That's what red is for. Red is also for passion and love. So if you're doing some sex magic, if you are doing some fertility magic, if you just want to attract more love into your life, and not self-love, because we'll talk about that here in a second, red. You want to weave something red into your hair. So, yeah, Amanda, you need to get a big red swatch. Let's talk about pink, guys. So pink is an amazing color because that is the color of self-love. So if you guys are working on your own self-love, being nicer to yourself and so on, pink is the color you want to use. So like I actually have a beautiful rose quartz on a ring that I will wear in my hair. In fact, why don't we put it on right now? Because my braid over here is blessings for everybody. So why not add some self-love into there for you guys, right? Yeah, there you go. Self-love. All the self-love for y'all. Because all of you are fucking fabulous and you need to know that and appreciate that. And I want you to say it with me. I'm fucking fabulous. Okay, I love all of you. All right, so pink is for self-love. It's also for friendship. It's also happiness and compassion. It's also very feminine. It also is for immaturity. So use that how you want to in spells. But it's also the color of hope. So pink is a wonderful color also to use in peacemaking. When I see people that are pink, I will be playing with a rubber band throughout this whole thing. I'm just letting you know. Have to fidget. So pink is a peacemaker color. People that are pink to me are people that are peacemakers. They value everybody getting along and everybody being happy. So if you are having something, if you're fixing to walk into a family meeting or you have your kids are fighting or whatever, you can easily, throw a rose quartz in there, weave a pink ribbon in, whatever you would like to do to help you bring that energy in. One thing y'all will notice is I have lights that I can change throughout my house because color therapy is a thing, guys. Color therapy is a thing. It will make a difference. It will make a difference. Okay. These colors do relate to auras as well, but right now we're talking about colors to use in hair magic. But yes, the color crosses over. Okay. So let's talk about orange. Orange is one of my favorite colors to see in people. And what's funny is I used to not like orange when I was younger. I love orange now. Orange is a color of excitement, of innovation, of living outside the box, being outside the norm, being yourself. It's a very individual color. It's also a color of vitality, however you want to say it. It's controversy. It's stirring up some shit. It's also justice. And this goes for candle colors as well, guys. It's also for health. So for those of you guys that have health issues going on, maybe you're fixing to go in for surgery, maybe your parent's going in for surgery, sibling, kid, whatever. Orange is an amazing color to use, whether it's in a bead, a ribbon, etc. As you're saying your blessing, as you're putting your intention into it, to ask for health. Okay? Let's talk about yellow. I'm just going to go down the rainbow a little bit. So let's talk about yellow. So yellow, well, hello, Mr. Hawaii. How are you? I tried to wink there and I did a both eye. I did like a 2-year-old wink. Hi, how are you? Let's talk about yellow. Yellow is another color that most people either love it or they hate it. I really don't have a color that I don't like anymore after learning all the meanings of them. So when I see someone that's yellow, it's really, really a happy color. It's very youthful. It's very vibrant. But yellow is the color of bringing more energy into the party. So depending on the shade of yellow, this is aura-wise, I can tell a lot about a person by the shade of yellow that they are or that their voice is. So with yellow, that's a great question about the colors. So give me just a minute and I'll answer it. So with yellow people are usually the life of the party. They're also extremely hard on themselves. They shine a lot of light on a situation, good and bad. So if you need the truth of a situation to come out, if you need to speak up for yourself and not have a filter, if you need more happiness into a situation, more light, yellow is a great color for it. So that's a great way to weave something in that's bright and vibrant and looks all pretty and so on. So let me scroll back up here. So someone asked, can you get all the energy from these colors when put together? Absolutely. Absolutely. And we'll talk about braiding them all together to put in different intentions in. Okay. You can also use this for candle work. So if you guys have a candle, have a base color, and you want to add these colors to it by melting the wax on, there you go. That's how you do it. So, all right. So let's talk about green. So green is an interesting color in that it has a lot of good to it, but it also has some bad. Okay. Most colors have good and bad, but yeah. So green is a color of health as well, but this is more self-healing. Whereas orange is a color of health. If you're trying to do something for someone else, green is more self-healing. So if you are working on shadow work, if you're working on anything in particular, that's what green is for, like anything with you in particular. Green is also very earthbound. It is very connected to nature, to trees especially. It's also money and luck and prosperity. The bad sides of green are envy and gluttony, jealousy, guilt, some really negative shit. So you can easily use green if you need those things to stop. Say someone is coveting something you have or whatever. You can use green to stop that. Let's see here. For balance, is there a certain side for positivity and negativity? So one thing I would say is You can always use that color and put the intention into it that you want, or you can braid a couple colors together. Someone said, how else can we put color into their hair other than dye? We're going to talk about that here in just a little bit. So yeah, that is something I will cover here shortly. So let's talk about Bodhi's favorite color, which would be blue. Yeah? Okay. I've had my hair some form of blue for a very long time. It is my favorite color. I absolutely love it. Blue has a couple of different meanings as well. I wish you guys could see my kid right now because my kid is absolutely channeling his inner David Bowie and he looks fucking fantabulous, but he's shy and he would not come and say hi on camera. But he's fabulous. I'm just saying. Okay. Okay. Hair ties do work. Yes. So if you guys have a hair tie that is one of these colors, or you just want to grab hair ties and use them in that color, do it. Do it. Absolutely. So there's a way to get it in your hair without it being dyed. So let's talk about blue, okay? So blue is a color of calm, of peace, of serenity. Think about it. All those beach pictures with the beautiful blue and turquoise waters doesn't make you feel crappy. You know what I mean? It gives you that warmth and that peace. Just like when you look at trees in a forest, those beautiful greens, you can almost smell the fresh air through the picture. Colors associate very strongly in our minds, guys. So it's also a color of loyalty and trust. So this is why a lot of business firms will use blue, because they want to appear trustworthy and worthy of your loyalty, that they're going to be loyal to you. So usually when somebody's a blue person, I know they're a very trustworthy person and that they value trust. They value that. However, well, let's go through some of the other things. Blue is also a color of intelligence and a color of enlightenment. The blue lotus in general is one of my favorite flowers, and that flower in particular is used for enlightenment. It's a symbol of enlightenment. Now let's talk about the bad sides of blue. The bad sides of blue is that it is very cold. It can be used to freeze someone out. It's also fear. And it can also be somebody that is shut off, that shuts off somebody, that shuts off from the world, shuts off somebody else. Blue is also a very masculine color, guys. So pink is female, blue is masculine. All the other colors do have associations with, one gender or the other. I wasn't going to go through all of those this evening, but it is what it is. You guys have Google. You can look it up. Let's talk about purple. Now, with every color, there are different shades of it. So use how you want to with it. And if you guys are really wanting to get into like, well, what does sky blue mean? Or what does, orange red mean? You can look those up. You can totally look those up on Google and see what the meanings of them are. I could go through different shades of blue, all that, you know what I mean? But we would be here for a long time and we have a lot to cover. So let's talk about purple. Purple is an amazing color. It is a color of royalty. It is a color of creativity. It's a color of spirituality. It's also a color that if I see someone that's a very dark purple, it tells me that they are super walking a spiritual path. They are walking a very hardcore spiritual path. If it's a lighter purple, that's more nostalgia. It's also artistic creativity. The bad sides of purple is that it can be too ambitious and it can also be a little moody. Purple is also mysterious and associated with fantasy, so that can be used in a good or bad way too. Just saying. So now let's talk about a couple of other more regular colors: brown, black, and white. So brown itself is very, very earthbound, very grounding, very outdoorsy, very earthy, very natural, very natural. Very reliable, very honest, and very conservative. Black is one color that I use a lot. In fact, some of the cords that I have over here to show you guys here in a minute are done on black cord. Black is a color that you will want to incorporate if you're doing anything at all with protection, with banishing negativity, with power, if you're working with the dead. Black is also very classic. It's very elegant. It's luxurious, but it can also be associated with negativity and bad things. So, yeah. Oh, I love you too. Let's see. I'm not going to try to pronounce it because I'll murder it, but Mr. Death, I appreciate your view, sir. Thank you. So black can also be associated with evil, with the bad sides of things. You can use that for good or bad. You could use it to banish evil, to clear something out, etc. Now let's talk about white. White is one that I use a lot when it comes to trying to clean energies out, as in trolls. Just saying. So, white in general, it's for purity. It's for innocence. It's also considered good, fresh, clean, simple, and easy. White is also considered ice and cold as well, so you can use white to freeze something out. So here is the good thing about white and why, especially if you're working with candles, you always want to have white candles. White can be used in lieu of any other color. So if you only have a white ribbon and you really need a blue one or whatever, you can kind of tweak your wording slightly and use white in lieu of whatever it is you need. So I hope that helps a little bit color-wise. I know it was a lot. And like I said, this will be on YouTube later, or you can Google it. It's everything. Exactly, just like clear quartz. So as far as colors go, you guys can use that into anything that you want. Let me move some of my cheat sheets here. So one thing I want to talk about is you guys have usually seen me wearing one of these here. This is the one I've been the most fascinated with lately, and I wanted to show you it for a reason. This one has been in my hair repeatedly lately. It is on synthetic sinew. So when I do cords, I do them on synthetic sinew. I will do them on twine, or I will do them on a black cord. And with black cords, I have cotton, and then I have this one as a wax cord. All of these are for different reasons, and you can get them in any color. Well, the sinew you can't, but you can get these other things in any color you want, okay? So with sinew, sinew is spelled S-I-N-E-W. Now, the Pagan Superstore, Hobby Lobby, you can get sinew in a roll like this. It is a whopping $8, and the roll is pretty thick. I've had this one for a while, and I've only used this much of it, and I use it a lot, okay? It's very waxy. Right here, it's very flat, but like you can roll it. It works for beadwork. It's kind of sticky to itself, so it's very stiff. But sinew itself has a specific spiritual meaning. So my dad is Potawatomi Indian. He is my stepdad. He adopted me when I was little, but I grew up using sinew in a lot of things. He actually used to go to different schools and teach some of the ways of the Potawatomi and all kinds of different things. So sinew was something I grew up using. It is an amazing material, even the fake stuff, because you can't get the real stuff anymore, really. So sinew itself comes from the tendons and the tissues in muscle and in animals. So Native Americans, Celtic, Egyptian, like everybody used sinew, guys. It's found in literally every animal. So people around the world used sinew. That was their string. So sinew itself, it's strength, it's power, it's vigor, it is moving forward, it's resilience. So this is why I absolutely love this cord with the sinew in it, because this is power. It's my personal power in this cord. So my knot was getting tight and I don't want it to do. So in this one in particular, I have a bunch of wooden beads. I have a piece of hematite. I have the moon. I also have a piece of tangerine quartz. I have a turtle bone for strength. And I have a pentagram at the bottom for protection and the elements and so on. But this one right here, I made specifically for me for different meanings. It has a lot of silver in it, even though I usually wear gold. I did make this one, and guys, I did on my site. So I make custom ones for people all the time. You can order them on the site, fully customized, however you wanted them. Trying to find this other one. This one right here is one that I made. It's got a lot of wood. It's got cork and it's got malachite. It's got larkovite. It actually has a tiny bone bead on it, like things like that. I can make them exactly what you want them to be, where they can be single, where you can just tie them in, or they can be a double like this, and I'm going to show you how to put them in here in a little bit. I'm happy to make you a custom one. I have about every type of stone at my disposal. If I make you a custom one, if you order a custom one, there is a spot on there that I do want to know what the intent is behind it, because I will specifically choose stones, beads, items, etc. that go for that intent. Leather itself, that's a good one. Let's talk about leather, and then we'll talk about these other cords. So you can absolutely use leather. I love to. However, I prefer to use suede because it gives a little easier. Actual leather is very stiff, and your braid will look, it looks kind of crazy. Leather is protective. So the spiritual meaning of leather is that it is protection. It's protective. So as far as cords go, this here is black cotton cord. Like we said, black is protective. Black is also banishing negativity. It is also, cotton itself is considered both wealth and prosperity. It's also considered a very spiritual material, which is why I have a cotton cord. On the Blue Bodhi, if you guys would like to order a custom cord, have me make you a custom cord for your hair, it's in the shop, and there are three different types of them. Well, I thought I had it over here, but I don't. So let's just use this one. So this one here is twine, and yes, it's kind of fuzzy and so on. So it's cord basically. Like, it's not going to break at all. None of these will break, but you know what I mean? This is like that cord that it's cheap, but yet this bitch is not going to break at all because it's so wound in there. This cord itself, the meaning of it is to tie that intention to you. So this is like one of my personal ones. This is one someone made me. It has a lot of silver in it, a lot of wood. It has some hematite as well. And it has, I want to say, some larkovite or something here in the bottom of it. It also has a tiny hagstone in the bottom of it. This one right here is to bind my intention to me whenever I'm putting it in my hair. So, yeah. I'm going to pause for a minute because I want to know what kind of questions you guys have, and then we'll move on and I'll show you how to put one of these in your hair. So what is silver for? Silver is considered, aside from being feminine, silver is lunar magic. Silver is also very connective. So if you're wanting to connect to deities, connect to the divine in any way, your ancestors, your divination tools, if you know that day you're going to be working with your cards a lot, or you just want your intuition to be more, silver. You want to use silver. Gold is a master healer. It's also luck, prosperity, etc. I actually have my cheat sheet up of, hang on, because copper and brass actually have some meanings too. So let's see. Copper is interesting. Oh, copper is for love. It vibrates with the planet Venus. So if you guys are wanting to do anything like love and so on, I had to look that up because I wasn't familiar with copper. But it also helps with circulation, with balance, and it can help. This says that it helps improve your awareness and expands your consciousness. Aluminum is not one I would recommend putting in your hair because there's a lot of high nickel content in it. Aluminum does have a specific meaning. This is more for spell jars or in general, but yay! So see, copper's a good one for you to have, love. Somebody said, I have copper because I'm RH, okay, and it's all I can wear. Yeah. So that's a great question too. Can I do hair magic with my beard? Absolutely. That is absolutely what the Vikings and the Celts did. In fact, if you guys look back at the depictions of them, most of them had their beard in spikes, in a V and spikes, and they would wear things in their beard. So yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Aluminum, like I said, anymore has a lot of nickel in it. So if you get it up against your skin, it can cause that nasty greenish look. types of leather. Okay, we'll talk about that in just a second. But aluminum is a protective energy. It's kind of an invisibility cloak, and it helps to deflect bullshit back because it's mirrored. But like I said, it's very soft and it's hard to work into your hair. Iron is a great one to use, especially if you guys have any kind of very negative bullshit going on around you. Iron is something that's very protective and banishing. So like in my house, I have a ton of iron railroad spikes, old iron railroad spikes. Iron is a great thing to weave into your hair, even if you just find a small iron bead or whatever. It's also associated with the planet Mars, with battle, with strength. So for inner strength, like if you needed something for inner strength, sinew, iron, like we'd hook you up. But it also has what people, I guess you would call it anti-magic. So if you're wanting to stop something that's being done against you, iron. This is why you put it, above a door. You put it in a room to be protective because see, iron above the doors. I have an old iron hay hook from the 1920s hanging above mine. So yeah, color is symbolic. It doesn't have to be that real silver or gold. It's the symbolism of it. However, when it comes to iron, you do want to have actual iron for that anti-magical banishing properties. I would never recommend putting lead in your hair. I'm just saying some Celts did. It is what it is. But let's talk about brass and then hematite, just because hematite is considered a metal and I've got it in the thing that I use here. So it's a mineral, metal. It goes back and forth, whichever one you want to call it. But you'll see it listed both ways. I consider it a stone. But okay. Brass itself, it can be used as a substitute for gold. I'm looking at my cheat sheet behind me right here because I wrote all this down so I would have it because I knew my brain would go because I don't use brass or copper very much. So brass itself is for money. So if you guys want to attract some money and some prosperity, you're going to Vegas to go gambling, y'all need some brass in your hair. Just saying. In fact, right there is Terry, who is going to gamble this next week. But brass is associated with the sun. So this is energy, lunar energy that's coming your way. Let's talk about hematite, and then we'll move on to some other things. I'll ask some more. I'll answer some more questions. So hematite is extremely protective. It kind of pulls in the negativity. It will soak it in. So a lot of times, you guys, I know a lot of people that wear hematite rings and they'll break. I always tell them that piece just took a big hit for you. If it broke, it took a big hit for you. Hematite is also really grounding, and it detoxifies. Like I said, it takes that in, it detoxifies the energy. So it's an amazing metal, stone, whatever you want to call it, to use. So as far as different types of leather, I would look up what that animal stands for because every single animal has something different it stands for. I don't know off the top of my head what some of them you would probably find, like hog or cow, except you think I would know what cow is. Like deer, I can tell you, but you're probably not going to find a lot of deer leather straps to weave into your hair unless you know some hunters or you find one on the side of the road. So yeah. Oh, my nails, they're just a deep blue black. Like it's deep blue black. I've kept them short here lately. Now, buffalo is one that I do know, buffalo and bison, only because I have some things that have buffalo and bison wound into them. So buffalo and bison in general, if you have a piece of bone, leather, that is massive strength and pushing forward on your path. It has good and its bad connotations to it, and it is shoving forward through any obstacle. Like I said, you can look at that good and bad. So if you guys use buffalo, be prepared because it's like that snowplow shoving through everything. It will. It's a massive amount of inner strength too. So if you have somebody, or you in particular, maybe you're dealing with somebody that makes you feel a little weak, such as somebody that's, worked on you a long time. They're a narcissist and they've worked on your psyche for a long time. Buffalo is an amazing thing to use. And you can find all kinds of teeth and stuff like that were sourced ethically. on Etsy. Some buffalo farms will have them, etc. So there you go. But yeah, as far as other animals, I would look those up. For deer in particular, deer are associated with peace. They're also associated with strength and gentleness. Different cultures looked at deer in different ways. So, for example, the deer is also a symbol of Buddhism, which is peace and prosperity. Some cultures looked at it as inner strength, like the Incans and the Mayans both looked at it that way. So, yes. Yes, yes. Use your deer very well, guys. I am one of those people that I have a lot of friends that are hunters. I do not approve of the people that just go out to hunt them for the rack. But a lot of the people that I know, well, all the people I know really, they use every part of the deer. And if they can't use a part, they usually call me and say, hey, do you want some bones? Hey, do you want this? And my answer is always yes. So, yeah. Okay, so as far as the gentlest type of cord to use in your hair, I would say probably cotton or sinew. Sinew, especially the synthetic, it's not going to catch in your hair. You know what I mean? Cotton is going to be very easy, but here's the trick with using it in your hair. And I'm going to show you in just a second how I braid mine into my hair. The trick is to make sure it's not pulling, because anything, even the cotton, can break it. So you have to be very careful with it. So before I start showing you guys how to braid it into your hair, what other questions do you guys have about what I've talked about so far? I got to pull up another cheat sheet because I had something else I was going to, well, never mind. It is what it is. You're fine, Chris Love. Herbs and oil on your hair. Excellent question. So, here's the thing about herbs and oils. If you guys want to use flowers and so on, just know that throughout the day, they're going to get damaged. So I absolutely recommend using herbs like oils on your hair. I have blue lotus oil. You guys, if you don't know me yet, I love blue lotus. I'm obsessed with it. It is one of the most fantastic smells ever. If you guys order any of my roller balls or whatever, I have one I need to put up that is blue lotus. It's enlightenment oil. But I will put a couple dots of it on my hair. I always put it right here on my pie stone. But yeah. So using herbs and that oil will infuse that into your hair as well. That's one of the good things about cotton cord is that you can put that oil on the cotton cord and it will soak in. Sinew, it won't really. If you have wood beads, it will. If you have lava beads, it will. It will soak into those. Let's see here. Does the direction of braiding right over left matter? To me, it really doesn't, because a lot of times I'm doing it in the mirror, so I'm kind of doing it backwards. It is the tightness of the braid that matters, and we will talk about that in just a second. Snake rattles are a wonderful thing to use. They are kind of hard to come by, but you can also find bones. There's a lot of places, especially around Oklahoma and Texas, where there are people that they're brave enough to go scavenge rattlesnakes bones out in the fields or whatever. So rattlesnake bones are amazing to use for several different things. Snake bones in general. Snakes are rebirth, regeneration. They are, shedding the old and moving to the new. Rattlesnakes, there's a couple different uses for rattlesnakes. So on the bad side, let's talk about them first. On the bad side, they are used to hex, to curse, to venom. You know what I mean? They're used to poison someone. On the flip side, they're also used to ward those things off. So I usually carry rattlesnake ribs. I don't have any right now that can be used to break a hex or a curse, like physically break. So yeah. My Native American heritage, I am not. I was raised by a dad who is Potawatomi Indian, but I am all Celtic and Norse. A tiny bit of French in there, but all Celtic and Norse. So yeah. I saw somebody else ask a question, so let me see. La, 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 la. Oh, hey, Bowie. Oh, Gretchy. Sorry. I thought you were Bowie. You and Bowie have things that look almost the same. So your horses will always work, guys. Your horses will always, always work. Snake skins are amazing to use. They are regeneration. That's what they're used for. Now, if you do have a rattlesnake shed or something like that, and you do want to use it for protection, for cutting something negative somebody's done to you, absolutely put that intention in there. But yeah, thank you, love. I appreciate that. So if you guys don't have any more questions right now, then let's talk about how to braid these in your hair, because there's kind of a trick to it. And I will tell you that it does take some practice to full on weave it in your hair. So if you don't feel bad, if you can't do it exactly like I do it on a daily basis and have been for a very, very long time. The tiny braid clips like this, I do carry them on my site. These are cuffs, but you can find them on Amazon as well. So if you just want a couple, I totally carry them on my site. On Amazon, you can order kits or hundreds of them. So I do use runes and I do use feathers as well. The thing with feathers is if I use feathers, I will take sinew or something and I will wrap the edge of the feather into this. Like I will tie it into a cord and then just braid carefully. I do have things, you guys have probably seen me wear this. This is a warthog tusk. It's like actually pretty gnarly at the bottom. I love it. It's so gross. But I have warthog tusks that I braid in. I've actually got to be a little careful with this one because I think it's probably going to, like I said, it's old. It might bust. But warthogs are amazing for strength and perseverance and protection. So I usually wear it where it's braided right about there. But let's talk about how to braid these things in, okay? You can use claws, you can use bones, you can use feathers, you can use whatever you want to, that you feel called to use in your hair. You can just do a simple little braid. If you're out and about and you need to do it really quick, you can just do a simple little braid and, leave it in for that thing in particular. So let me show you guys how I do mine. This is where I almost always keep mine right here. You guys have ever watched any of my videos, you've seen it. I'm going to do a little bit of a bigger one this evening. So this is a pretty good size swatch of hair. Actually, I don't want to do quite that big. There we go. That's a little better. Nah, we're going to do the big. It's either go big or go home, right? So one of the things I do is I have a double-sided one. I do this for a reason because it's a little bit easier. I do make single side ones. Now, if I make a single side one for you guys, what I recommend you do is rubber band it to the top of your hair before you braid, and then you can braid it in. Or have somebody do it for you, okay? So with these, what I do is I tie just a quick little slip knot up here, and then I will pull my hair through it and tighten it. And so then I have to pick like which end, if I'm going to braid both of them in, or if I want one to leave hanging down. So I'm going to look really funny here for a minute, guys. So if I have one that I want to leave hanging down, I will do that and I will hold this here. Now, if you braid very loosely, which is like I said at the top of this one over here, a loose braid is for calm, for peace, for prosperity, all of the calm, the good, lower vibrational calming things, not lower vibrational in a bad way, but like, you know what I mean? Tight braids are for protection, therefore banishing, and therefore the hardcore things, strength, etc. So with this, you will have to pull it up just a couple of times. So with braiding it, this, let's see. What all would you guys like to ask for this evening? Because I already did that other braid over there. Let's see. Since this has a turtle bone in it, because I never ever just braid without putting intention into it, guys. As I braid this nice and tight, there you go. You guys just say what you need me to put in there. I ask that everybody listening to this be protected, have the inner strength and fortitude that they need going home, going on, going forward, going to work. I ask that everyone in their home, and let me lean forward so you guys can see, like I'm winding this pretty tight. Be healthy, be happy, that any sicknesses around them be cured. And as you guys can see, as I'm getting like some of the beads here, you just have to kind of tuck it under, okay? Because they will catch, trust me. And see, it'll start winding in like this, okay? I ask that they have the motivation to continue on their path even when things get tough. I ask that they have job security, that they have strength and love. Somebody said something really good, and it went too quick. Truths be told. That any weapon formed against them be brought into the light, and that those working against them or working behind the scenes, that the truth be shown exactly how it needs to be. I ask that everybody watching have the clarity and the wisdom to make the right decision, especially when those truths are told. And as you can see, when I'm getting down closer to the bottom, I kind of have to be careful because you see where the bone sits and so on, and I'll show you guys how to get around that too, okay? I ask that the universe, that their deities, that their ancestors guide them in always making the right decisions for their highest good, whether they feel like that's good or bad, something getting yanked from them or brought in. And as I finish this braid up, oh, thank you, Rosebud. As I finish this braid up, I got to lean back. My hair's kind of long. As I finish this braid up, I ask that everybody watching this have the peace and the amazing rest that they need this evening to fully enjoy their day tomorrow. And as you guys can see, it gets a little tangly around the bone right there, but I thank the universe, I thank the deities, I thank the ancestors, and I thank anyone that is here on behalf of anyone watching. As above, so below. So now, you guys can see that there's a pretty good sized quartz at the end. Let me just tell you from experience, it's hard as fuck to try to get a rubber band around that. So, this bitch is tight. This is where a cuff comes in very handy, guys. So, all you do is open it up, pinch it, and then wind it around. And then I'll flatten it. And the good thing about it is, if it slides down, it's still sitting against that quartz. So, as you guys can see, all of the beads are wound down in there. You can see some of the sinew. And it looks really cool. So it's got the bone in the bottom. It's got all these things in the bottom. So then all you have to do with this part is just let it fall back down like that. Now, there are times I braid both of these in. There are times I leave it hanging. Sometimes it does get a little heavy up here. So here's how to fix that. Y'all probably know what I'm fixing to do, right? So if I'm only braiding one side and then this is literally just hanging down, I'm not going to lie, you will get a headache from it if it's too tight and you leave it hanging. That's where this cuff comes in. The good thing about the cuff is not only does it hold the top of the sinew up, but it helps keep this weight off your hair. So that's what I was going to say when someone asked about how to keep your hair from breaking, is I use a cuff up here. I mean, immediately you notice a difference. Like you notice that is not, that this one right here, because even though there's not a lot on it, there's a piece of hematite on here. And this quartz right here, both of those bitches weigh a pretty good amount. The rest of it is pretty light, but you'll notice it. So if you put that cuff in there, it will help prop it up. Instead of just one weight right there, it helps disperse it a little bit. So we'll talk about short hair in just a second. So this is where you can do bigger bones if you want to. Once you have this braid in your hair, you have the sticker piece right here. Ooh, guys, I braided this shit tight. That's awesome. So what I'll do with this, I've already got it wrapped with sinew because I use it a lot. So like I said, I do this a lot. So I will just kind of tie it in here. And sometimes I will tie the other side up as well. It just depends on what I'm doing. All my other hair is like, hey, I want to be in there too. Yeah, no, not going to do that. So, and then I will leave it like that. I've got it a little off kilter, so I will, if I were wearing this all day, I would have to adjust it so it would sit like this instead of like rubbing against my cheek. I do have some that hang down here, etc. So yeah, I absolutely love wearing it. So here's why I left this little braid in my hair, because one of you guys is going to ask the next logical question. What do you do when you take it out? Right? How many of y'all were thinking that? So you can see that this one's got a little bit of a loop in it. This one's been in my hair since late Thursday night. I did wash my hair with it in there. Usually I don't. I will take them out before I get in the shower. But this was for something specific. It was very specific. And what I asked for happened exactly what I asked for, or exactly how I asked for it to happen. So it obviously took some damage, which I'm fine with. So here's what I will do on this. This is where oil comes in handy, and I should have some up here, but I don't. If you cannot get your rubber band out, or it's pulling too hard, like that one pulled a little hard, I'm not going to lie. You can put a little bit of oil on there, and it will come out. So as I'm undoing this, here's what I say. And I brush it all the way down when I'm undoing it. I thank the universe. I thank all the deities that's energy went into helping me fix this matter. Thank you for everything you did that worked in my highest good and in the highest good of everybody involved in this situation. I release any energy that I have kept in here, good and bad, back into the universe to be recycled and to be reused and renewed by someone else. And I release all of the good and all of my thanks and all of the prosperity back into the universe. And I ask that it find the person that needs it the most. As above, so below. So I will always, always give thanks back for a braid. Even if I feel like nothing came of that braid. So if I did a braid for something specific, that specific thing didn't happen, I look at that as, it's either my bangs are in my eyes or they look weird, one or the other. I look at that as what I was asking for was not in my highest good. It wasn't in my highest good to get that job, to date that person. You know what I mean? Like, look at things that way, guys. Don't look at it as, oh my God, this didn't work. It's stupid. It wasn't in your highest good. It wasn't on your path for that to happen. It wasn't on your path for you to specifically have that person come back into your life, for you to get that job, etc. So yeah, look at it that way. Give thanks back to anything and everything, especially when you are doing something like this for intentions. So mote it be is a term, saying in witchcraft. Some Wiccans will say it as well. It's just basically like, so be it. Is what it means. I say as above, so below. There's more to that saying, but that's usually what I say is as above, so below. That's more of a shamanic way of closing out a prayer, closing out something. Sometimes I will say so mote it be, but I almost always every time say as above, so below. So let's see. Somebody asked a good question. Let me go back up here. Does the placement matter as far as under the back? Are you talking about back here? The reason that I put it back here is because I wanted it hidden. I wanted it hidden. So that's why I put it back there. So yeah, if I put them out here, it's right out in the open. I almost always have a braid right here. Almost always. In fact, if I don't, actually, lately, I always have a braid there. I had to think. I'm like, if I don't, and then I was like, wait, I always have one there. Lately, in one form or another, I always have one there. It may not be this ornate. I may just have a cuff in it or a ring. You guys can get just rings. Celtic and Vikings wore a lot of rings. They wore a lot of different things in them. So, yeah. But the placement of it on your head can be just because maybe you just don't want to explain to people why you have one single braid in your hair. Or this one in particular was because I had to go do something on Friday that I asked for some workings to be done invisibly. So yeah. Yep, exactly. If you have a work, like that's exactly what I was saying. If you need to hide it, that's the best place to do it is back here if you leave your hair down. Now, what's really cool is that if you pull your hair up, especially in a bun or something, what I would recommend would be to do a couple of braids, because as you pull it up and wind them in there, it looks fantastic. And then people are just like, oh, wow, you took a lot of time on your hair. And you're like, yeah, I'm braiding your ass out of the office. You know what I mean? Like, you know what that intention is behind there. It just looks fantastic. So the significance of the rings, it's mostly the metal they're made out of. So left side is the spiritual side. The right side is the physical side. So that's a lot of times when you have a palm reader in front of you, when they're reading your left hand, this is more the spiritual aspects of yourself. Now, there are physical on both sides, don't get me wrong, but traditionally the left is the spiritual, the right is the physical being. So yeah. So what other questions do you guys have about hair magic, how you can use hair in your practice, etc.? Yes, I do dye my own hair. Someone asked about that. I've been cutting and dyeing my own hair since I was about 19. I had my hair down to my waist, and I asked a lady to take 2 inches off of it, and it was up to my shoulders. And after that, I went, why braid on the right side if it's physically speaking? So, you know, it for the most part, when I do something on the right side, it is for something physical, but a lot of times I do both. It just depends. Most of what I do is here on my left. But like I said, this one I did this evening right off the bat because I wanted to make sure everybody was relaxed and prosperous and so on. Where I get them from, now these right here, I ordered off Amazon. Like the wrapped stones, because my eyes are bad. I can't wrap stones anymore. The cuffs and so on, I do carry them on my site. I do also make custom cords for you guys. So if you guys would like to have a custom cord made, I am more than happy to do it. So yeah. Let's see. Oh, hang on. Oh, short hair. Yeah. Let's talk about short hair. Says, I just got here, but certain things matter. Seashells. Yeah. So everything has a spiritual meaning to it, guys. So if you're drawn to use something in your hair, there's a reason you're drawn to use something in your hair. For short hair, guys, it's a little hard to braid short hair, especially if it's only like this long. So what I would recommend doing would be to do a braid in a cord or something, use like 3 pieces of it. You don't have to put it in your hair. You can put it on your necklace. You can put it on your belt. You can put it as a bracelet, whatever you want to do. This is why a lot of times you will see guys with short hair that have little woven cords or leather pieces about this long hanging from their belt. It's an intention braid. So it's literally the act of braiding. Now, if you want to do something specific with your hair, while it is a lanyard, exactly. If you want to do something specific with your hair and your hair is short, here's a few things you can do. Color matters, obviously. If you can't do color, one of the things you can do, and this will hurt just a tiny bit, is to pluck out a couple pieces, maybe down here, whatever. You can use them on your altar. You can use them in any kind of jar, protection spell, etc. Any kind of magical workings that you're doing. Oh, here's my first yawn. Oh. Any type of magical working that you're doing, you can use your hair in. But for the most part, if you guys want to use braids and you want to do something like that, I would recommend doing it and just wearing it on you. You could tie it on your lanyard. You could make a really cool one to tie on the bottom of your lanyard. You know what I mean? And people would be like, oh, cool. Oh, that's really cute. And you could be like, yeah, totally. I was bored. Yeah, if you want to do something protective, like say your husband is bald, say he shaves his head, say he has a high and tight, You obviously can't braid his hair. And most men are like, don't fucking braid my hair. But you could easily braid a cord for them, put it in their lunchbox, put it in their bag, tell them, hey, fucking wear this today. You know what I mean? Like, put it in your pocket, whatever. So yeah, you can do any of those things. Anything you guys, if you guys have to wear a mask at work, here's a great thing you can do. On one of the sides, you could easily do a braid with some gems or whatever. And hey, it just looks cool. Nobody knows what it's for. But you're wearing it all day right here, right by your face. So see? A 2-strand twist would work, etc. Yeah. Yep, absolutely. You can totally braid it together for a keychain. That's actually a wonderful way to do it because pretty much everybody has their keys on them all the time. So braiding, this is where I would probably use something like leather that's going to be more tight, more intensive, thicker, take the damage. Sinew will also take the damage too. Can you put someone else's hair in a protection jar for them? You absolutely can. One of the things I would recommend, if you're giving them the jar, then they could put their own, or you could put it in there and seal it with them right there. So it seals their intention in. You just have to make sure that that's the only intention you're putting in that jar is their protection. Because if you are putting their hair in that jar and you're like, I want this to protect them if they're doing the right fucking thing, you just negated some of their, you see what I'm saying? You have to be very careful with how you use it. Hair is a very powerful thing. Most cultures, hair is something sacred to them. So one of the things I would recommend if you're worried about using hair in a jar or anything like that, even if it is for something good, you can put it on your altar. Put a little dish on your altar or, wherever with some protective herbs and stones and whatever, and put a piece of their hair in it. That's a great way to help protect them. So yeah. So what other questions do we have, guys? Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. That would be a wonderful thing to do. Yeah. I would look up what kind of herbs are associated with fertility, with pregnancy, with childbirth. I would also look up some deities that are associated with childbirth, and there's a whole bunch of them. And I would put herbs that correspond with those deities in there, or stones that correspond with them. Being that she's about to have a baby as well, turtles would be a good thing because turtles are strength and perseverance. Those of us that have kids know damn well how hard labor and having a kid is. So yeah. So the only thing about using her hair in that situation, truthfully, I would say that it would probably be better to have her put a piece of her hair in there and seal it and seal that intention in there with yours, but use your gut, like whatever you want to do. So a bear claw, yeah, you could absolutely braid that into your hair. Can you keep the braid in for as long as you like, or do you feel that you need to take them out? Wonderful question. So like I said, this one here I had in since Thursday. I usually take mine out every evening unless it's for something like this right here. I left it in. So one of the things that I would say about that is trust your gut. Like there's been times in my life where I've left a braid in for, I think I had a couple in for over 2 years, and I actually had to cut them out at that point. So you can put as long as you want, use them as long as you want. I personally take mine out every night or I may leave it in 2 or 3 days at the most, but I take mine out every night because I want that energy given back to the universe. If it's something very protective, like something specific is going on and maybe my kid is going on a trip or something, you know what I mean? I might leave it in while my kid's gone and then pull it back out. So yeah, the cuffs are on the site, or you can get them on Amazon. So if you get them on my site, it's just a listing for like 2 of the little cuffs, but you can get bulk on Amazon. It's no big deal. the cords themselves, I do make custom cords. I am more than happy to make you guys a custom cord. They do take some time for me to make because I need to look at what your intention you want in it and what goes in. And it doesn't have to be one intention, guys. So if you need one for to wear to work that is for protection, for dispelling negativity, for returning shit to the sender, you know what I mean? Things like that. I'm happy to make you one. I will look up everything. And when I send it to you, I will put a card in there that has a list of everything on it, what it's for, and, you know, give you some ideas of what to say when you braid it into your hair. So yeah, I'm more than happy to do that. The 2 threads, as far as what I had here, is that what you're talking about? Returning shit to sender, iron is a good one for that. So the cords that I have here, I have more than this, but these are the only 2 that I have right here. I do make them with labradorite. I also make them with larkavite, which is black labradorite. So yeah, you know what? I will put a listing on there for keychains. I don't have one, but as soon as we get off here, I will put a listing, making myself a note right now, for keychain. So I will also put one on for a mask that you guys can just tie onto the side of a mask. So let's see here. Okay, so cord wise, so this right here is black cotton cord. I also have black wax cord that I use. I also have synthetic sinew. And like I said, guys, you can get this at the Pagan Superstore, Hobby Lobby for $8. And like I said, I've had this for a while and it was way out here. Like it lasts a pretty good while. Hey, Ricky. So we talked about with short hair just a little bit ago. Most of what I would say is to do an intention braid that you carry with you instead of having to try to get it in your hair. Now, if you guys do get something and you want to braid a piece and you don't mind it hanging down off your hair if you have short hair, absolutely do that too. That looks badass. I mean, you can get it to where you can clip it in or whatever. Like you could say your hair's about this long and you had a cord about that long. You could easily get a rubber band, put it into your hair and just let it hang. So yeah, I call Hobby Lobby the Pagan Superstore all the time. You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, that's my new term for it. I walk in there with my witchy shit on all the time. Oh, yes, I was waiting for somebody to ask this question. If you're doing someone else's hair, can I set into their braid? Absolutely, you can. This is a wonderful thing to do for your kids. And you don't always have to weave something into their hair, or you can just weave give them a cuff, put a cuff in, because, kids always would love that shit, or a ring or whatever. Absolutely. So when my kids were younger, well, my youngest was younger, and I would braid their hair before they went to school, I would put that intention in there that please protect my child today. Make sure that everything that happens is in my child's eye is good. You know what I mean? Like, I absolutely would braid intention into my kids' hair. So yes, yes, yes. See, there you go. Clip the braid into short hair across your head like a headband. That's fucking fantabulous idea. So the metal rings, it's just the type of metal that it is. We went over a ton of different metals really early in this because I wanted to go through them. I'll go over gold and silver again real quick because those are the ones that you will see the most. So gold is a master healer. It's also for wealth and prosperity and strength. Silver is one that is for lunar magic. It's for divination. It's more spiritual. Gold is masculine, silver is feminine. So let's see here. Can you wear that as a necklace versus in the hair? Absolutely you can. That's a fabulous idea. And one of the cool things about it too, like if you were to use sinew or even the black cord and you could weave black cord and sinew together. Oh God, that would be fantabulous. Yeah, that would be fantabulous. And you could put whatever you wanted to put in there. So let's see. Can you do for protection for your home? you could, if you wanted to do one of these to hang from a lamp, to hang from a ceiling fan, I don't even have a ceiling fan, so I don't know why I pointed up there, but to hang from a ceiling fan, to just display in your home, you could get as ornate as you wanted to with braiding anything. So Hobby Lobby, the Pagan Superstore, has amazing cords back there you can get by the foot or by the yard, I think. You could absolutely pick out what colors you wanted and then braid those together and then tie the stones in. Like, yeah, it would be fabulous. Silver is feminine. It's also lunar magic. It's also divination, connectivity, spirituality, etc. You could put that intention into there and sleep in a braid if you are trying to connect with your dad. I will say that just in doing what I do, sometimes it takes some people a very long time to fully connect back with the people here. They either have a lot they're unpacking and learning, or maybe they just aren't ready to communicate yet. So this has been fantabulous. I've had a lot of fun with this evening, guys. So what other kinds of questions do we have about hair and hair magic, guys? And don't forget, if you guys forgot about the time, or you got here late, or you just found me on For You page or whatever, this will be on YouTube, so you can go back and watch the whole thing from start to finish. So one of the things about feathers is they're fantastic to use and they look badass. You just look cool. One of the things I gotta quit saying one of the things. What I would recommend before you put the feather in your hair would be to wind it at the base, tie it, so you can just tie it in your hair. Because if you just put it in there, you're probably going to lose it. I've done that and I lost some really cool feathers. Thank you, love. Let's see. Brown hair is very, very connected to the earth, to the earthly realm. What about dreadlocks and intentions? That's a great question. So if you are having your dreadlocks done, redone, etc., or as you're working on them, you can put those intentions in there. I have a lot of friends that have dreadlocks or elf locks, and they will braid them together and put intentions in there and wrap things in between them. So you can, yes, absolutely do that. So for those of you guys that don't know the Celtic meaning behind dreadlocks or elf locks, that is something that was done to hair, especially for children, because it supposedly kept the elves from stealing them, kept the fae from bothering them or stealing them. So a lot of children, Celtic children, would have elf locks or dreadlocks. So yeah. Then they are called, you can look up elf locks on Google. So yeah. Anything to help your hair grow. There are a ton of different herbs and so on you can use, but at Walmart, at all of the bigger stores, there is an herb, or not herb, a supplement called biotin, Biotin, I think. It's pretty cheap. That's what pregnant women take in hair and nail vitamins, prenatal vitamins. It makes your hair and nails grow like crazy. I burnt my hair off before a long time ago, and I took, I want to say 100 milligrams of biotin a day, and I had to stop because my nails were like, blah. So yeah. My niece does hair. Can she do this for her friends? Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like I heard you say yes. So the left is your spiritual side. The right is your physical side. But it also depends on what side you feel like you need to put a braid in. So guys, completely. Ooh, yes, Andrea, I do need to tell you about that. You guys can easily just use your intention. I am a huge person that will always tell you to use your intention. Your gut is always going to be the right answer. Always. So guys, don't ever feel like you have to follow someone else's instructions to the letter, especially if your gut is screaming at you. They tell you to use a blue candle and your gut's like, use purple. Like everything in you is saying use purple. Use fucking purple. Okay. So if you're going to put it on your left and you're like, it just doesn't seem right, put it where it feels right to put it. Is there any difference between straight and curly hair? Not really. Not that I know of. So, oh yeah, absolutely. Feathers, you can use whatever kind of feathers that you want. I'm not like off the top of my head familiar with what each bird means, but you guys can totally look up the birds and the animals. Just look up, like pigeon, spiritual meaning, etc. Am I able to braid my daughter's hair to keep her narcissistic dad from bothering her? Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Put that in there. Yeah. So, yeah. So as long as I put my intentions and love, there is never dishonor, disrespect. Exactly. Exactly. I don't ever put anything bad into a braid. I always put good intention in there. So that's wonderful. Can you protect your pets in any way of their hair or using their hair or whiskers? Yes, absolutely you can. You could also make something to hang on their collar. You could make them a collar out of it. Just go to the Pagan Superstore and get the clips, make them a braided collar. Exactly. Or you could just do a small, a braid about this long or whatever, wherever it's not going to interfere with them or catch on something. You could also do a spell jar. You could do a layout on your altar, an altar dish or whatever with some of their hair in it to protect them. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yay! You did finally catch my live, Tasha. Oh my God, that was cute. Can I braid my daughter's hair for better behavior? Yes, you can. Yes, you absolutely can. So I would braid in the intention for calm, for peace, you know what I mean? For releasing anger healthily, things like that. I would make sure that all your wording, when you put it in there, even if it's in your head, plan what you're going to say in advance. Use the right wording. Wording is key, guys. Use the right wording. So, yeah. Paracord. Yep, you can absolutely use paracord. Yep, you can use the intention of weight loss. Can you share what you put on your altar? Like my personal altar? Dude, there's a lot on my personal altar. I may just have to do a video of it. How does that work with putting things on the altar? Like if I had things for my family and a pet. If you're wanting to put something on your altar for protection for them, what I would recommend would be an altar dish, or you could always make them a spell jar to put on there. I do both sometimes, but I prefer to use an altar dish because I can change that out. So say when my kids, starting school, the intentions and the protections there are different than around Christmas. They're different than around the end of the year. They're different if some other kids fucking with my kid. You know what I mean? They change. So I don't like having to take a spell jar apart and make a new one all the time. I use an altar dish. Thrift stores, Hobby Lobby, Goodwill are amazing places to find some really badass vintage dishes. Okay, Hobby Lobby is not vintage, but you can find some really cool things in there. But Goodwill and thrift stores, flea markets, garage sales, all great places to find some really cool vintage dishes. So, yeah, let's see here. Let me go down here. Oh my God, all these questions. Okay. White gold still has the properties of gold, but it also has the properties of the color white, even though it's not technically white. So it would be for purity and so on. Yeah, you can braid anything. You can braid anything. So an altar dish is just a dish you put on your altar. It can literally just be a bowl from your kitchen. Yeah, altar dishes are fantabulous. So yeah. Yeah, if you guys have other questions, feel free to ask them and I'll answer whatever I can. So yeah, for those of you guys that don't know about altar dishes, they're an amazing thing to use. You can use them for offerings. You can use them for protection, for workings for other people, for yourself. They're an amazing thing. Yeah, an altar dish is something that you put things in loosely. Yes, yes. Now you can get altar dishes that have a lid. Like if you have a cat and your cat's a dick and gets on your altar, totally use one with a lid. Tupperware works just fine. Trust me. Can you put intentions into your hair by brushing it? Oh, yes. That's one thing I was going to talk about. Okay, so one of the things that you can do with hair magic is to brush what you want into or out of your hair. Brushing it, you can do the same thing. So this is another thing for you guys with short hair, with brushing it. Oils, this is a great way to use oils. You can use those to put the intentions in your hair. White, yeah, white can be used to replace any other color. My cat won't stay off the surface for me to have an altar. I'm sorry. Yes, I will put this on YouTube because the first hour of this, it was just a lot of information, a lot of information. So yeah. I don't know what the fur meant. It just popped up. It was just interesting. It just popped up. Woo, let's see here. I can't use oils in my hair. It's super oily as it is. So I don't like putting extra oil in my hair because mine is pretty delicate balance. So what I will do is just put one drop on my finger, and I will, like on braid wise, I will rub it down my braid, or I always put it on here. This has a satin cord on it, like it's not going anywhere. And this thing, actually, I never take it off. So I always put oil right there. So if you make offerings to Freya, gold earrings, can you ever wear them again? You absolutely can. So here's a good idea. If you guys have something, because this is going to be a question that comes up here in a second, and I know some of you guys are wanting to know. So if you have an offering dish or anything on your altar, or an offering to ancestors, to deities, whatever, leave it on there as long as you feel it needs to be there. Now with food, obviously you don't want to leave it there till it's moldy and nasty and it's been like 4 years. Okay, don't do that because that will piss them off. So leave it on there as long as you feel that it needs to be on there, and then dispose of it how your gut tells you to dispose of it. I have people that they will eat the food off their altar as a way of taking that blessing back in and nourishing themselves. I have some people, friends, that will throw it away. Some people will give it to the birds outside, the animals, etc. So, you can do whatever you'd like with it. So if you have left those on there and you feel like she received those earrings well, I would totally wear them. Wear them on the days that you want to feel closer to that deity. Yes, moon water and a spray bottle on your hair is fantabulous. It's a good idea. Material good for an ancestral offering. I would ask them. Literally, you can tell them, hey, what you want? Like, what can I leave out for you? Some people have, grandparents, aunts, uncles, parents, etc., that they liked specific things. Maybe they were a huge Pepsi fan. Maybe they smoked a lot. You know what I mean? Like, you can leave those things out for them. But they're usually happy to tell you. And it may be something very weird. You're like, I don't know why you want pancakes and an orange slice, but okay. You know what I mean? It can be very weird, but trust your gut. When you ask what they want you to put on your altar for them, trust your gut, because they're going to tell you. And like I said, it's going to be something weird. So Florida water, you can absolutely put on your hair. Oh, is this two or three? Okay. So, Florida water you can use on your hair. One thing I would be careful with, depending on what the base of it is, it could dry your hair out if you use too much. So with Florida water it's a blessing water. It's a spiritual water. It's actually the base in a lot of colognes, believe it or not, guys. Traditionally, it's made with about 14 or 10 to 14 different herbs. I can't remember. And it's steeped for 2 full weeks. So traditional Florida water, full Florida water, is steeped in these herbs for 2 weeks. It's a range of colors. Some people put color in it, whatever. Let's see here. Are there specific stones to offer for ancestors? So there's a few things you can use that are general. Cedar is a good thing. Obsidian is a good thing. Apples are a good thing. But and when I say apples, I have apple seeds on my altar. That helps traverse the veil. But use what you feel you need to use, guys. So what do you use blue lotus oil for? Blue lotus in general is enlightenment. It means enlightenment. So whenever I use it in shamanic teas. I use it on these areas of my wrists right here. This is my pie stone. I use it on my mala. So I use it for enlightenment. You know, I used to know why it was called Florida water, but I don't anymore. Because it's been around for a long time. It's been around for a long, long time. So let's see. I know there was a couple other questions up here I didn't get to. Oh, I guess I did get to them. Yay! Oh, thank you. What can you use to protect your aura? Fabulous question. So there are a few different stones you can use to protect your aura. There is one that is called the meteorite, and don't ask me to spell it because I will screw that up every time. But I know it's like D-U-M-E something, but it's the meteorite. It's a beautiful denim color. It's blue. That will protect your aura. It's like an armor. There's also one called Vesuvitite, and it's either Vesuvantite or Vesuvitite. I can't remember. But it's a beautiful green. That one will repair holes in your aura. Amethyst is another good one. And you can put all these in your braids, in whatever braid you want to do. Black tourmaline, obsidian, anything black is going to help protect you. But yeah, there's another one, and it's driving me nuts because it's like right on the tip of my tongue. It's also green. My thoughts on Moldavite. So just make sure you're ready for Moldavite. Just make sure you're ready for it. Because I have a ring of it I wear every day. If you guys have ever seen the ring here. I feel weird when I don't have them on, because I almost always have my rings on. So I actually have a Moldavite ring that I usually wear every day. So if you guys ever see this on me, it is Moldavite, and it has green Russian diopside on the side. Just make sure you're absolutely ready for it, because it will drop kick your ass off the Grand Canyon, ping you off the sun, and fling you out of the galaxy, whether you're ready or not. And I don't think a lot of people realize that. Let's see here. Yesterday you talked about protection and a candle spell, and I was wondering, do you need to put anything around the candles? Oh, so, oops, shit. It's up to you. You can put different herbs around the candle. You can do all. There we go. Sorry. Somebody wanted to go live, and I had to try to politely say no, and I don't know what I just did. So yeah. So it's up to you what you want to put around the candle. You can put herbs, you can put stones. I almost always put a cinnamon stick on all of the four corners. So yeah, you can put whatever you would like to put around a candle, whatever you feel needs to go there. You can also carve the candle. For the little tiny chime candles, I don't recommend carving them because they are very fragile, and it doesn't take a lot of pressure to break them. So on chime candles, I would recommend just ringing their holders with herbs. Do I need to put the candles over a pentacle star? Are you talking about what we talked about yesterday with the protection layout? You can if you want to. What is the best oil for emotional and spiritual strength? Ooh, there's a lot of them. Really, I would say make your own. You can get some mineral oil and steep herbs in it and make your own. Coconut oil, whatever. I love coconut oil because it's also really good for your skin, but some people are allergic to coconut oil. But you can totally get just a small bottle, and you can steep your own herbs in there. So if you wanted some for emotional and spiritual strength, you could put rosemary, peppermint, lavender is actually a good one. You could put some star anise in there for some spiritual strength, and so on. Can I do a video on the protection layout for candles? Absolutely. I would be happy to. It will probably be Monday or Tuesday before I can, but yes. Prehnite is a healer's healing stone, and mine has gotten buried. It was right here. There it is. Prehnite is a healer's healing stone. So this one right here will heal any energies that you have given, that you have taken on. A lot of times, especially for healers, you give so much of yourself that it leaves holes. So yeah, this is a fantastic stone. So I don't think you absolutely got, or you accidentally got any. You needed some. You needed some. So this one is just a very interesting little piece. It always will have black tourmaline in it. See if my camera will actually pick up the black tourmaline better. But prehnite always has, this is black tourmaline. So it's very protective as well. I just loved this piece because it looked like half a lime. I loved it. I wear a bracelet of this. That's what, if you guys ever pay attention to my jewelry, and I know some of you do, I actually have a bracelet of it that I wear. So yeah. I wanted to get Moldavite and got prehnite. Well, that's interesting because this one right here, especially in kind of knowing you a little bit, yeah, I would say that is a fantastic one to get. So Merlinite's a good one too. Merlin Stone is India Gabbro, and that's the other one I talked about the other day. This one here, this is an amazing one for meditating with and connecting. So a lot of times when I'm doing lives where I'm connecting with ancestors or whatever, I will hold this and play with it a little bit. It's wonderful. So someone asked about serpentine. So my pie stone is actually blue serpentine. It's a little hard to see, but this never leaves me. It is harder to find blue serpentine. I actually found this on Amazon and now they don't carry it anymore because I was going to order a second one in case I ever lost this one, but it never comes off of me. It's always right there. But serpentine is an amazing stone. Blue serpentine especially is one that is so spiritually protective. It also connects you to the higher realms, to your higher self. And yeah, you guys should absolutely look up serpentine and blue serpentine. Yeah, onyx is fabulous. I love onyx. Where did I purchase this? You're going to make me think because I got it last Christmas. I'm going to have to go dig out. I ordered it online and it came with a certificate of authenticity and so on. So I'll have to find it because now it's like out of my head. Because I was looking for a ring or a pendant and I wanted it in a jewelry form like this. I'm not going to lie, it was not very cheap. So, yeah. I mean, it wasn't crazy expensive, but I mean, it is a pretty, it's hard to see. It's a pretty wonderful piece. It has a lot of really cool little black inclusions in there in different places, but yeah, and it's a gem quality, a gem cut, princess cut piece. So yeah. So it wasn't very cheap. But I love it. And I tried to put it on this hand the other day and immediately on there, I was like, nope. I had to just put it right back on the other hand. It was really funny. So let's see here. I want to start my daughters on their stones. What would you suggest as starter stones? Oh my God, that's a great question. So starter stones, especially for younger people, I would recommend amethyst, rose quartz, and I would also recommend whatever black stone you feel drawn to or they feel drawn to. Usually I like letting them pick them out. Citrine is also a good one, or ametrine. Ametrine is citrine and amethyst that's grown together. That's one of my favorite stones. So yeah. Tiger's eye is also a good one. Hematite is a good one. I mean, really what I would do would be to take them into a shop and say, okay, here's the tumbled stones. You know what I mean? Like, because most shops have a big thing of tumbled stones and say, pick out 5 or give them a number, like pick out 4, pick out 5, whatever, and let them choose what they're called to choose. And then look up when you get home what those stones are for. And I guarantee you'll go, oh yeah, you did need that. So yeah. The healer stone. Yep, that's the prehnite. That's the prehnite. I actually have a huge tower of this beside my bed. And like I said, I have a bracelet of it that I wear. I have this one here because there are some times when I'm doing counseling appointments and so on, I'll rub it like a worry stone almost. Like I just, it even has a notch right here for my finger. It's like the perfect worry stone. There is one called Healer's Gold, and off the top of my head, I can't think of its actually like the name of it, but yeah. So yeah, that's awesome. Most stores will have what the name of it is and the list of the properties. So I would highly, highly recommend taking a picture of that. That's what I do because I'll get home and go, oh, I have no idea what this is, unless it's one I use all the time. Oh, thank you, Derek. You're so sweet. How are you, love? So what other questions do we have, guys? Now, some of the stones, I'm not a stone expert. I am not going to lie. There's a few that I'm all about and I know all the properties of, but there are other ones that you would think at this point I would know. I don't. Oh, hi. Thank you. Love y'all's energy too. Because I can't hardly see your face on there. But yeah, how are you and Ben today? I know. So I was like, oh, it's Derek and Ben. For connecting? Oh, wow. Okay, that's a great question, guys. Do you know anything about a charm for the goddesses to connect with the earth? So, what I would say, what I would recommend for that would be anything with petrified wood. I mean, there's all kinds of stones. Every different goddess has stones they're associated with. So if you work with Gaia, if you work with Pachamama, if there are specific ones you work with, look up what stones they're associated with. But yeah. Yeah. Petrified wood is so grounding and so earth-based. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Well, I'm glad to hear that Derek and the Ben are doing fantastic. That makes me happy. I'm glad to hear all of you are doing fantastic. So what other questions do you have, guys? I'll answer a couple more and then I will probably get off here because, yeah, I've been talking for a couple hours. It's kind of been a long day, but I've had so much time, so much fun, not time, so much fun doing this tonight. I'm so glad I did this. Oh, that's a great question. Lilith, what's your opinion? I think that Lilith is too much like some other deities that get a very bad rap because Christianity wants them to have a bad rap. Lilith gets a bad rap because she didn't want to be subservient to Adam. I have a lot of friends that work with Lilith. She is a very strong, fantastic goddess to work with. So let's see here. Let me go back up because there are a whole bunch of them. Do you have a spell inside your brush? Well, I actually don't use a brush on my hair. It's not as curly this evening because I kind of have let it just be what it wanted to be today. So it got free range on what it wanted to do. But so I only brush mine in the shower because I like mine to be very natural. And if I brush it when I get out of the shower, it turns it like this. A lot of it will get straight. So I actually have a shower comb and I have it warded. I have in Sharpie put some warding and some protection and so on. And so in the shower, I will brush my hair when I have conditioner on it and I will put intention into it when I brush it. Hi, Daphne. Blessed be Sweet Pea. Yeah. I am Team Lilith. Yeah. Lilith and Hecate are not really connected, but they are two very powerful feminine deities. So Hecate is just one of the many triple goddesses and goddesses of witchcraft or magic that there are out there. There are a ton of them. So in Celtic culture, Brigid and the Morrigan are both considered triple goddesses. Brigid is more like Hecate, where there is a mother, maiden, and a crone. And so they have those three properties. The Morrigan, however, who I do work with, is considered a triple goddess as well. And she is made up of 3 sisters, Mother, Maid, and Crone. But they don't play around. Just saying. So yeah. Oh, I am so sorry. I hate hearing that a mentor or teacher would ever scare someone off from working with the deity, because that tells me they do not understand the meanings or the actual personality, whatever, behind that deity. So I'm one of the few people that I have told people to work with Set. I have told people to work with Pan. I mean, things like that, because that is the deity that was poking them for a reason. Just because a deity's been painted in a bad light doesn't mean they're always bad. So how do you know who to connect with? And I saw somebody else, how do you pick a deity? They tend to pick you, and they are usually pretty blatant about it. With me in particular, I want to say I have worked with the Morrigan almost as long as I can remember, even before I really got into this realm. My very first pseudonym as a writer was C.K. Morrigan. I mean, come on. But yeah, they usually will pick you. So in fact, I ordered a statue of Odin for my desk. It's like the old school little Odin statue. I totally got off Amazon. I just wanted to show him off because, he loves to be fucking shown off. But so yeah, it's usually pretty obvious. It's usually pretty obvious when they pick you. Well, Derek, the next time that I have a live, I will bring my Morrigan statue out because you will fully appreciate it. I have one about this tall. It's just fantastic. It's just fantastic. You may have had a deity that's picked you and you don't know yet. So sometimes if you have one that's more subtle, they will send some things and it may go right over your head, or it may not be time for you to fully work with a deity yet. So let's see here. I can't find things to use for offerings from Osiris. From what I'm told he isn't nice to me. Really? And that's kind of interesting, because usually if you're working with a deity, they usually are happy to accept any offering. Now, there are sometimes if they're not your deity and you're just trying to push and work with them, they will kind of start to back off. Like you'll feel them kind of backing off. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, let's see here. Okay, there we go. All right, there was another one up here. Ganesh is an amazing one to work with. I don't work with him in particular, but yeah, he is a wonderful one. Have you ever commanded a deity? I don't know if you can command one. Gotcha, yeah. He may just not be communicating with you all the way, Andrea. So, I know people that can. I work with a lot of them. I do deity readings, and I have gotten to know multiple. It's not knowing them on a personal level, but I understand their personality and how they communicate. Osiris does tend to be a little cold. Him and Anubis tend to be very matter of fact and very cold with how they communicate. But if they're going to work with you and they need something from you, you're going to know. You're going to know. So yeah. So guys, what I would recommend if you're curious about which deity wants to work with you or whatever, yes, I would absolutely research some. Here's what I would do though. I would take about a week or so and I would pay very close attention to numbers that are popping up, to specific stones you're drawn to signs. Everybody knows there's something specific that will pop up and you'll be like, there's that fucking bird again, or there's that number again, or you know what I mean? There are things that stick out to you specifically. Write them down, or I carry a little notebook with me, but write them down and make tally marks. And then at the end of that week, look up like, okay, what do all of these things mean? So yeah, that will help you find, that will absolutely help you find who is poking you, who you're naturally drawn to. So yeah. Well, guys, it's 9:00. So I am going to go and end this live because my throat hurts. I have been doing this all day. So I hope you guys learned a tremendous amount about hair magic, about braiding for intention, how to do it, what to do. Don't forget that I do custom cords for people. This will be on YouTube later. Yeah, don't forget to follow me. Make sure you guys register for the live so you guys can catch whenever I am live. I have a whole bunch coming up this next week. And yeah, I love you guys. I had a fantastic time tonight. And if you guys have any questions, please feel free to send them to the website, post them here on a video, whatever. If you guys haven't joined the mailing list for my website, make sure you do so. Have some amazing ass things coming up here very, very shortly. And I will be sending out a crazy long email with some good shit, some discounts, etc. Anyway, enjoy y'all's evening. I love you very much. Have a good one.